Hello and welcome to the Brutally Honest podcast.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Rachel, and welcome to today's episode. Happy Thanksgiving week, everyone.
Yes.
I'm so excited for a few days off of work. I literally cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going to New York this weekend, and I cannot be more excited.
That's going to be so fun.
So fun.
And I feel like you moving also right before the holidays and right before Thanksgiving is a lot. So it'll be so nice to have. My
stress levels are very high right now, actually.
Like the relief you will feel touching down in, where are you flying to?
I think JFK.
JFK. My favorite is LaGuardia.
I know I think I'm going in JFK, leaving Newark, which is tragic, but it's okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, no, it's still fun. We have had so many new friends join the podcast, new faces.
Yes.
And with that, we got some like really cool comments and really interesting comments. And one of them I wanted to read because that's kind of like the basis for today's episode. And it is. Okay, so basically in like my story, I talk about how paralysis doesn't define me. Like that's the context of the clip.
And I will say that's kind of like the crux, and that's in the episode, that's where I was like, oh my gosh, you were so powerful that like this horrible tragic thing that happened to you isn't the first thing that like you tell people, or
for sure.
Or you don't, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm Rachel and I was paralyzed. It's like, no, I'm Rachel and I'm whatever I want to be.
Yeah, like it's like when I list the things about myself, it would be like number 10.
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, this is like a part of me.
This would have happened, yeah.
And one of the comments on the video was, how did you get to that point? That's truly incredible. And I feel like that's such a big question.
How do you define yourself?
Yes, like how do you get to a point where you're like choosing your identity?
Yeah.
That I was like, this deserves a whole episode. So thank you to whoever gave us that comment, because it is so poignant, so good, and just like is a whole episode in and of itself in its own right.
And it's like such a life thing.
Yes.
Like having direction for your life and like understanding who you are and who you want to be and then shaping your life that way. Oh my gosh, it's like purpose of life right there.
No, and like I feel like the question like who are you is so simple, but then it's like, oh my gosh, where do I even go with this?
No, for real.
Like it's so like non-trivial and so big and so like everyone struggles with it. Like even as I was like brainstorming for this episode of like, okay, how do we answer this question of like your identity? I was like, initially I was like coming up with like almost a list of to-dos of like, okay, we'll do this, do this, do this, do this. And also it was kind of like, I felt like I was pretending as if like I have it all figured out. And I think like with the podcast, I just want to be like, so like the whole point of it is to be brutally honest and so to be like, like open, like, hey, no one actually really has this figured out completely. Right. And like, I don't want to pretend that like, I've never struggled with this, or this has never been something that I'm like, hey, I need to like work through this, or moments of like, I don't really know who I am right now. And just like trying to figure that out. I think I was like, I don't want to like pretend that I know everything. I'm like, I just want to be real and be like, no, this is something that we are all like at varying like grappling with. And like I feel like there are times in life when you feel like you have a better sense of self, less. Like it just kind of goes like ebbs and flows, I feel like.
Well, it's so funny because in the episode about me, like this is something that has been so top of mind for me like the last 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because even in that episode you were like, well, I feel like I have a really good idea of who you are. Like, yes, no, you're Rebecca. Like you know, being like not being married and wanting to be married, like that doesn't define you kind of thing. Yeah. Like
it's like I can pin you to a wall. Like I know who you are, and it's like boom, I can
like even the last 3 months, like the questions of like who am I? Like what's actually important to me? What gives me purpose? These are all things that I have like been literally like dealing with. Yeah. And like discussing, journaling, like talking about. Yeah. And it's like still hard, if that makes sense. Absolutely. And I've been doing so much like work on it, if that makes sense.
You're like, and you're also kind of, sometimes it's like, well, how did I get here?
No, exactly.
Well, and I look at pictures of myself sometimes when I was 3 and I was like, dude, she knew who she was.
Younger self was like, oh, I got this.
Like even all kids you talk to, it's like, no, they know who they are and they don't have any questions. They feel no need to question themselves.
It's so funny because my therapist will be like, well, like if you ask like a 3-year-old, like, or like be like, hey, like you're awesome. The 3-year-old's like, yeah, like, thank you, I am. And I feel like society is like a way where like we're always self-deprecating. Like if like it's impossible for me to accept a compliment without being like, I like your shoes too. You know what I mean? Like or being like, oh my gosh, you did so good at this. And it's like, yeah, well, like I'm just kind of trying this, instead of being like, no, I'm Rebecca. Like I know who I am. I want this. I believe in this. And like just being like in a place where it's like, I can give myself and define myself, and others don't define me. My trials don't define me. My mistakes don't define me, and I get to choose.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's the episode.
It's so much easier said than done.
Oh my gosh.
Literally so much easier said than done. No, even with like the podcast, we just hit 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And look, not a lot to some. I'm on cloud nine about it. Like I'm stoked, like elated. Dave, my husband texted me, he's like, oh my gosh, so proud of you. And I was like, you know what? I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds so dumb. But it's like, you should just be proud of yourself.
Yes, you can be so excited about things and I don't have to hold back or feel guilty.
I'd be like, oh, this is weird that I'm excited about this like small milestone.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'm actually stoked about it. And I should just like wear that on my sleeve and be like, no, this is like, I'm so excited there's something that I want. And it's like going a way that I want it to.
Okay, so that's a little intro.
So that is a long-winded, all that to say, that's today's episode, folks.
Okay, so should we kind of, how do you want to start this? Do you want to start with being like, kind of like, how do you define you?
Yeah, well, I feel like we should start almost like with our journeys of defining ourselves.
Okay,
Where like, I feel like for a long time, not a long time, but like being someone who's like somewhat of a high achiever, I would say, like has always been like really into like trying to do well at things and like kind of competitive with myself in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like there's always been this like push and pull of like, you'd start defining yourself by your success. Like me getting really good grades in school, I'm like kind of defined by that. Or me
for sure
doing well on a test, doing this, doing that, like you're defined by, or like your work success, what job you have. And it's like just so easy to be defined by that. And like not even like, I'm getting a huge ego from it, but it's like, no, like that just like is my sense of self.
For sure.
And you just like are really unable to part with that. And I think that looks different for different people as far as like almost like your crutch of like when I don't know who I am, I fall back on this habit of like defining myself by these like external accomplishments and not having like a sense of self intrinsically just with who I am. It's like an extrinsic thing that starts defining you.
That's like me to a T, if that makes sense. Like the whole reason I did like investment banking or finance was like basically to like do something that was cool or not even cool, but like this is ambitious,
impressive,
Wolf on Wall Street-esque.
Yeah.
And it's not because I liked it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not because it's like that was passionate. It's just because like I like didn't know how to find intrinsic value. And so, and it was like, well, like I need to do this in order to feel like I have value, if that makes sense.
For sure.
And I think what was hard for me, it was like all of a sudden, like I was doing these high achieving jobs and wasn't getting any like love of it.
Yeah.
And so then I quit those things. And then it was like, wait, oh my gosh, like my career is not where I want it to be. Like, what am I doing?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And so then it's like, well, 100%. So then I feel like a failure, you know what I mean? And, and it was just like, wait, like, I don't even know like who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Well, and I think this kind of brings me to like one of my first points is like, if you don't define yourself, other things are going to define you.
Yeah.
And that was like with a comment when she was asking me, she's like, how did you get to this point where like this paralysis didn't define you? And it's like, because I chose what did define me. Mm-hmm. And I know that like kind of sounds weird of like choosing what defines yourself.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you get to choose how you view yourself and you get to choose like how you define yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, because I basically was like, this is who I think that I am. So this is who I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And that didn't like that label didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
For me. And I think it's like, if you are not actively saying this is who I am, it may be other factors or other people or other things. Like if you don't define yourself, someone else is going to define yourself for you because you always have an idea of who you are. Like it's the whole like idea of self.
Yeah.
Like you're always going to kind of have like how you view yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're not actively choosing and like viewing yourself in a certain way, it's going to be shifted just by outside forces. And like maybe you have great people around you. And so therefore like they're going to make you view yourself better, which is great. And like obviously what you want. But again, like if you're not actively choosing how you define yourself, someone else is going to do that for you.
I completely agree with you. Let's double click on that.
Yeah.
So when you say like how do you do that?
Yes.
Like I want to get to the nitty gritty. Like how are you actually doing that?
For sure. I think something big for me, I also would love to hear your response to this.
I do have one.
Yes. Something big for me is like figuring out and like doing things for yourself that you love, even just like a hobby.
Yeah.
Like a big thing for me and like having a sense of self is like, one, figuring out what I'm good at, and like knowing things that I'm good at for me is like, no, this is like a talent that I have, and not in an egotistical way, but there's something about being like, like this is something that I excel at, and I'm going to own that, and that's going to be like a part of who I am. And that's not even just like, oh, I'm good at school, but it's like, oh, no, I'm a very like dependable person. And like that for me is like big, like being reliable is like, that's like a big part of who I believe myself to be. Yeah. And again, like, that's like, oh no, I'm good at that. And that's who I am. Yeah. Or it's even like, oh, like I really like doing this. Yeah. And it's like, that's part of who I am. And just like actively like choosing things or even like, it's like character traits that I choose to attach to myself. Yeah. Because like, no, I know who I am. Like I know these qualities that I have. Yeah. I want to hear yours.
So one thing that I have done really recently is it's called like a branding exercise. Okay. And so I want you to think about McDonald's. You see the golden arches. Yeah. Like what do you instantly think? McDonald's. 100%. They have done an amazing job of understanding what McDonald's is. And guess what? It's not even the best food, but it's one of the most successful restaurants out there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's like, well, like they created that brand for themselves, if that makes sense. Yes. And so it's like, okay, like what is my personal brand? Like what is like, even like a logo, what's a branding thing? What's something that like I can resonate with? So the thing that I came up actually was like a pair of red boxing gloves. Like, you know, when like have you seen cars where they have like little boxing gloves hanging down, or even like photos of boxing gloves hanging down? Yeah. So my mantra is just like, I'm worth fighting for. Wow. And whether that's just like someone like says something to me and I'm like, wait, and it's like, wait, no, like I'm worth fighting for. Or like if I get knocked down, well, guess what? I'm not going to come back swinging. Yeah. If that makes sense. Or like, I'm just like a fighter. I'm going to go get what I want to get. Yeah. And so having that just like thought of like, just like the mantra, like I am worth fighting for, it's going to make me emotional, has like given me so much like sense of self and like power, where it's like, no, I matter. What I say matters. And like, I'm great. I have a lot of really, like you said, like I have actually a lot of great attributes, and like, it's okay that I have these attributes. Like I don't have to like punish myself for like thinking I'm good at something. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. No. And underline. Yes.
And like, I still struggle with that actually, but it's like, and I can also like be awesome and also not be good at things. And like, guess what? That's okay. I'm like not a good artist. Who cares? You know, not who
like,
cares.
I have strengths and I have weaknesses, or just like, that's fine.
Yeah. And like, that's the fabric of society, is that like you have something that I don't have and I have something that you don't have. And that's what makes things beautiful and everything. And so, I think like honestly doing that branding exercise and I haven't bought them, but like I would love to have like things hanging on my car, like things that just like remind me of that, if that makes sense.
Well, also what I love about your mantra is not just like I'm worth fighting for, and not just other people fighting for you, but you fighting for yourself.
It's more actually like me fighting for me.
Which I think is so sick. Yeah. That it's like, no, I am worth like standing up for, I'm worth this. Well, it's kind of, you know what people will say where you're like, you cross me and it's fine, but you cross someone I love and I will go to war. Well, and it's like, no, you cross me, I'm going to war for myself. Party of one.
100%.
Not in a crazy way, but just like, hey, I'm worth fighting for. Literally exactly what you said.
Can we talk about this? I want to dive on this. Because like one other thing that was really beneficial for me was like, because I was kind of feeling like I'm like a failure, like in all avenues of my life, if that makes sense. Yeah. But then if it's like, one thing I was asked was like, if your best friend were going through that, like, what would you say to her? Yeah. And it's like, I would say like, the world is your oyster. Like you have so many opportunities that you can choose from. Like for sure things didn't work out the way they weren't like that you wanted them to, but like you're learning so much, you've learned so much, you've grown, like you're not behind. Yes. And those are not the things that I was saying to myself. And like, why is it so hard for us to say those things to ourselves? Yeah. Like it was like,
no,
what?
You never soften the blow for yourself. No. Like you're always softening the blow for your friends of being like, no, you have all these good traits, but with yourself, you're like, no, you're so behind. You need to be doing this. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. And I think it's also good to have like a healthy internal dialogue to be like, okay, let me take stock. And if there's something I want to change, let's make some changes.
And by the way, like being honest with yourself is number one.
Yes.
Like for number one. But like, that doesn't mean you have to be mean.
Absolutely. Well, and I think also with your identity, you need to be honest with yourself about the way that you actually view yourself.
Yeah, totally.
I know people personally who would say that they're like, oh, I'm so confident, I have this very strong sense of self. And I'm like, hey, let's take a step back. Like, I see the way like you speak to yourself and about yourself.
Yeah, totally.
And I see the way that you define yourself. And I'm like, and I'm saying this out of love. I'm not saying this out of belittling them, but I'm like, hey, no, like you can be nicer to yourself. Totally. Like actually, like, I think you're trying to protect yourself from your own view of yourself. Like you're not willing to accept the fact that you're not viewing yourself with love, and you're not viewing yourself with any empathy or just any sense of like love for yourself. And I think that's a really hard thing to realize, is that you're not loving yourself.
So true. I think one question that really changed that whole perspective, because I think I fell in that category a little bit, was what would it look like if you woke up and would like just loved yourself, was fully compassionate to yourself? Yeah. Like, what does that look like of you just like really loving yourself? How was your day changed? Yeah. And like my answers to that question were like, I would be really energetic and excited for the day. I would like love other people. I would, do XYZ thing. And like basically like the sentiment was like, I would be so excited and so kind to people. Yeah. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But I think it was just, and I think answering that question was beneficial for me, because it's like, wait, like I can get there. Like, why am I not doing that?
Yeah. You're like, this is not out of the realm of possibility.
No. Yeah. And like, I have no reason to be like really mean to myself.
Something that was interesting for me, like watching you have this realization. Yeah. Was it like, I didn't even realize in some ways that you were struggling with this? Yeah. If that makes sense?
No, totally. It's all silent.
Yeah, like it's all just like internal, and like you kind of like, you're kind of putting up, everyone puts on a little bit of like a front of like,
for sure.
I'm fine.
Walls
yes,
for sure.
And you're like, front. And you believe that you're fine. And so it's like that. And I was thinking about this recently. I was like, what was so fascinating for me about that time was that it was so foreign to me that you would ever view yourself with anything less than like the utmost respect and love, because I was like, that's so clear to me. Yeah. Like me looking at you, I'm like, wait, what do you mean you don't love yourself? You're like one of the people that I look up to the most. Yeah. It's just like so. And I think that's like the whole crux of this, is that like you can look at someone else and be like, no, I see like you're amazing. And like you are one of the most capable, competent people I know. And I'm not like, I have said that to so many people. I'm like, no, she can do literally anything she puts her mind to. Totally. And it's just so interesting how we work, where it's like, wait, you don't believe that about yourself. When I'm like, yeah, I believe that more about you than I do about myself. Like, I would so like put my stake in the ground.
That's how I feel about you. Yeah, you know what crazy. I mean? I would like go down dying on like, you should be president. You know, I'm like you guys
she should run. I'm like, she can do anything. No,
seriously.
I'm like, she wants it, she can do it.
No, seriously.
And so that's what was so crazy to me, is I was like, what do you mean? Like literally it was like, what do you mean you don't believe that about yourself? Because that's so clear to me.
But it's I know.
And that's but that's like just how everyone feels. Like, I'm not reality. Saying that to put you down.
But that's just how
like,
it is.
That's fact to me. It's so crazy that we don't see ourselves in the same way.
I know. And I think one other point here, and then we can move on, is like, I think being a friend to self is something that I've learned that is really important. So it's like what are like some attributes that you think of a best friend? Like name some right now. Like, what are they?
Like someone who's like trustworthy, someone who's kind, someone who's
how I view them. That relationship. Like, what do they do to make them a friend?
Okay, like you spend time with them. Yes, you talk to them, you confide in them, you laugh with them. Totally, you do fun things.
Totally. So it's like. Like, and I would say you do that with yourself very well.
I like kind of love myself.
No, I'm serious. I don't like. You've like always been like that since a little kid.
You know, like, there's something about it. I don't know.
No, it's amazing.
We can get into this,
but it's like I would say like I wasn't as good as that, and like for some reason they're like I would like fear myself. Does that make sense? Like fear diving into myself. Yeah, but like I don't have like a really huge reason. Like there's really nothing scary down there, if that makes sense. But like, and I think there are some things that are scary that are like, if I go there, I have to change my situation. Yes. So you do have to be ready for that, because definitely there's things like that. Yeah. But it's like, like, do I spend time with myself? Like, do I check in on myself? Yeah. If I'm feeling a certain way, do I just avoid it and shove it down? Yeah. Usually, like before, and
like just go. And sometimes it's easier if you're feeling that way to just go find someone else to talk to. Exactly. Because it's like, oh, well, we're just going to talk about you, and I'm just going to like kind of shove myself into a box in the corner.
Exactly. And so it's just like, man, that relationship with self. I don't know why it's been like such a struggle for me, but I mean, I feel like you probably can figure out why. if you look at stuff. But like, yeah, it's like, it's life-changing. And like this, like so important. And like, I think you date better people. You're a better partner when you're in like tune with yourself. You're a better friend. You're better at everything, I think, when you spend more time.
Yeah. And I think also like knowing yourself, one, you're better able to communicate yourself to someone else.
Yes, totally.
Which I think is really helpful. It's like, hey, I have this need.
Yeah.
And it's like not being met.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to like communicate that. And I think also when you're able to really see yourself and understand that need, you no longer feel guilty for having like a certain need.
Totally.
For being like, hey, I need this from you and I'm not going to feel guilty about it because you know that it's not outside of the realm of being ridiculous. So you're like, no, I'm not asking for too much.
Totally.
That I like have this feeling, this thought. And you're able to also like better dissect your feelings and be like, okay, why am I feeling this way? What's actually the underlying cause? Because there have been a couple times where like someone will do something and I'll get like really annoyed.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, you did this. And I was like 5 times more annoyed by this than really is a normal response.
This all the time. It's like one of my toxic traits. No, I'm serious.
No, but then it's like, okay, I need to pause and step back and be like, okay, why am I feeling this way?
Totally.
Because clearly I am having an outsized response to the stimulus. And I feel like you're able to then better like bridge that gap and realize, okay, there's more going on here that I'm reacting to than just this.
And the irony is it's like usually about you 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Like there's something about you that it's like, wait, I'm feeling jealousy or like I'm feeling. A lot of times it's like we have these fear things that like take over and it's like, well, that's like my body's like mechanism for protecting me, but like let's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, okay, well, let's dive into this. Rather than like leaning into that, it's like, okay, sometimes it's like pause.
Yeah. Pause. What's going on?
Like, let's just take a minute. And I think also one thing that I was thinking about that kind of goes along more towards like events in your life. Like if you have,
this is where I wanted to go.
Yeah. Like a divorce, a trauma. For me, it was the paralysis or like anything that happens in life. Like there's so many events that happen is that we are not willing to let things change us. I saw this post recently that someone was like, she was postpartum, she's a mom, and she's like, I have spent so long being obsessed with trying to become who I was before being a mom, as opposed to letting myself go through this metamorphosis to become myself as a mom, myself post this, and letting like things change you. Cause I think sometimes with like, and motherhood I think is like a beautiful process. And I think sometimes like paralysis, I wouldn't necessarily call it like this beautiful becoming and like blossoming into this phase of life.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes like with negative things, there's this desire to like pull against it and to be like, this is not going to change who I am. This is not going to make me a different person.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, no, lean in and be like, actually, I'm going to let this change me for the better.
Yeah.
And when you are at odds with something, that's when it changes you for the worse. Because you're going to be changed. Like life is hard and the whole point of life is that you grow and you change and experiences just make you into a new person.
Right.
And so if you are at odds with it, that's when you start resenting. I think that's when you start getting a lot of the really big, difficult, just negative emotions. And that's when I think you become like, have these weird feelings towards things. But when you just lean in and you're like, you know what, I'm going to become one with this and then let it change me for the better and become like a better version of myself and not be so obsessed with trying to be the person I was.
Yeah.
But be focused on becoming the person that I want to be.
Yeah.
Leads to, I think, better results.
I think you need to approach life with this is a learning journey.
Yes.
As like... and then that way like no experience is really a bad experience. I mean it's hard, but like you can change from it.
Things just are.
I do have a question for you.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna get like so nitpicky.
Let's nitpick.
Not nitpicky, but let's
do it.
Go deeper. But like when you say lean into something, what does that actually mean?
Yeah. You're like, what?
I'm like, okay.
You're like, I'm leaning in to trauma. Okay, do you know Dune? We all know Dune.
Ugh, I love Dune.
Do you remember the scene? This will only work for some people when he's in like the plane and there's a sandstorm around him and he's trying to fly in the sandstorm.
Yes.
And then he gets, I don't know what, like the sound.
This is such a good scene.
It's like there's the sound that comes to him and the voice that comes in that's like, let go or something to that tune. And then he like lets go of the controls and becomes one with the storm. Yeah. And then he is able to pass the storm.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of leaning in is like just accepting and are also like not being obsessed with your past self, where like I think.
And by past self, I think you mean like your past hopes, your past dreams, and like the future version of yourself that your past thought you were going to be.
Exactly.
Which is hard.
And I think you need to mourn that. 1000%. Like you have to mourn the change and like the dissonance that you feel that your life is not on the path you wanted.
Yeah.
Like let that emotion be. And I think also one, like letting your emotions be.
Yeah.
And like working through them. And two, I think it was just like, hey, this is what I have. Like, these are the cards I have today. We're going to play the cards I have today.
Like in your mind. You're going through this in your mind.
Yes. In my mind, like I wake up and it's like, okay, you know what? I don't have a pocket aces. I don't have pocket aces. I've got a king and a 2. And we're going to make this thing rock.
She's like,
we're going to rock
I'm
and
looking
roll.
for a flush.
Yes. Yeah. Or just like leaning in. I want to think of like the best way to word leaning in. It's just like not necessarily battling it. Or just like or being obsessed with the fact that it like starts to control your life and just like letting it be a part of you, but not the part of you. Like it's almost like when you accept it into your life, it's just there. Because for me, it's not like, oh no, I am not paralyzed. No one can know. It's just like, hey, like this is a part of me that I've accepted as being part of me.
Yeah.
But because I've accepted it as part of me, it no longer controls me and it no longer is the whole me.
That's amazing.
Does that make sense? Does that like answer the question? Is that helpful at all? Or no? Do you feel like that's not what you wanted?
No, I think your Dune reference, where basically, for those of you who, I think you kind of explained it, but like he's flying through this storm and like the ship is like going everywhere and all of a sudden the voice says, let go. And he's just like, let go. And then it kind of just like takes him where he's supposed to go. He like flies up basically and then is able to grab hold again.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think you answered it perfectly.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to feel the pain, like I said, of like the things that maybe you wanted, or like, I mean, that clip where it's like as a mom, I like picture myself growing with my kids and like, that's not going to be like that. And like, it's okay to feel that and mourn that. And like with me, it's like, it's okay that like, I don't have 4 kids right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
And my job isn't what I want it to be. And like, that's like, it's okay to be sad about that. Cause like that was a version of myself that I had hoped and dreamed for.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, there are still going to be good things beyond, you know? So yeah, I think feeling that. And like, for me, it was like journaling a lot and like asking myself questions a lot and like, going in those places that just hurt a little bit.
Yeah. And I think,
like pain is good in this, like emotional pain. Like when you cry about something, it's funny. Like I'll cry and then they'll be like, my mentor is like, well, that just means like there's a wound there. Yeah. So like it's good that you cry about it because that's like healing.
No, that's good. And I was literally just about to say like, you have to like lean into the hurt.
Yeah. But the irony is when you do, like, you feel so much better afterwards.
Yes.
But it's more painful in the moment. It's easier to go scroll on social media for hours than like,
for sure,
to go explore this hurt and pain.
Yeah. And what I mean by lean into the hurt, because I realize I'm telling everyone to just lean in.
Yeah.
Is don't pretend that everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big advocate for, let me not pretend that being paralyzed was the pinnacle highlight of my life. Yeah. And I don't look back at it and be like, that is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Like, I've learned so much from it. I'm so glad I had this.
Yes.
It's like, no, actually, I wish I wasn't paralyzed.
Yeah. Like actually, if I could go back and like switch it, like in a lot, and like have my life be the same it is now, like I'm still married and still like certain things I could choose the way that they went. Yes. Yeah. But also like, I'm like, that's the way that my life went and that's fine. Yeah. But also just being like, no, that's really hard. Yeah. And I think it's really healthy to acknowledge that things are hard because there's so many people that they're unwilling to accept things are hard and things always have to be like good and they always have to be happy. And it's like, hey, you know what? No, things were hard. Yeah. This thing is still hard for me actually to this day. And I'm just like not going to pretend that it's easy. I'm not going to, like, you don't need to throw a pity party for yourself, but I think it's really good to just be like, no, this is hard and I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. I'm not going to pretend anything other than the truth. Like, if you ask me about it, I'm going to be like, yeah, no, this is hard.
And you know what the reality is too of all of this is like, the reason you're sad about something is because it was important to you. Yeah. And like, it's good to have things that are important to you.
Yes.
And like, if they don't work out, it's okay. But like, you're going to make new things that are important to you.
Absolutely.
So it's good. Like
yes.
it means you want things, you desire things, and like, it's okay to mourn things.
And you're worth
that means
having desires.
Yes. You're like, hopes and dreams are good. Like keep dreaming, keep hoping.
Yeah.
One other thing do you have anything else there?
No,
one other things that I did want to talk about was, my friend recently who got divorced, and it kind of ties into this, but like, I think the theme is like that, like your trials and your mistakes, like just don't define you. So like, she recently got divorced, and like, I think for a long time after that, it was like, oh, I'm so-and-so's ex-wife.
Yes.
And I remember there was one day where she kind of had like an aha moment where it was like, wait, like, I'm not that. I'm just me. And that doesn't have to define me. And I don't have to carry this burden of like this identity or like this thing that I feel a little bit embarrassed that happened, or, you know, this mistake that I made. Like, it doesn't have, like, I am not that thing. I can choose to be my own self.
I love that you said relinquishing yourself of the burden.
Yeah.
Because I think so many things that we feel like we have to, we feel like we have to carry things for some reason.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, oh no, I have to carry this persona of who I am.
Yeah.
You actually don't have to carry that.
No.
You don't need to punish yourself by carrying it. And it's hard because all of this is you choosing to let things go.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard too when it like your choices have affected other people.
Yes.
I think that makes the burden all that more complex, because it's like, wait, I hurt the other person, and like, no one likes hurting other people, bottom line. But like, you still, like, you aren't in control of other people's emotions either. So you do have to let go of that burden. Okay, continue.
Well, and I feel like with that, like, you feel like you have to hold the burden out of respect for the other person.
Yes, it's like,
but it's like, actually, no, their feelings are all up to them, and your life is all up to you.
Yeah.
Like, when you have separated this path, they get to decide how they feel about you. And look, if you have like apologies that you need to say so that you can move on,
for sure,
say them, make your peace, and then you have to forgive yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's just like, you realize that carrying those things actually only affect you.
Totally.
Because at some point, it's like, you know what? I've done what I can do, and I have to move on for myself, because I can't like carry those burdens anymore. Like, I just can't carry them, and I don't want to carry them.
And it makes your life, you can't feel joy, and like this, it's just heavy.
It's heavy.
You just can't live the way that I think you're meant to live. Like, I don't think we're meant to like live unhappily.
No, and that's like so important to realize, is that if you're feeling a certain way, it's kind of your self-deprecating comment earlier, where it's like, hey, we're not supposed to constantly be putting ourselves down.
No, we're
not supposed to wake up and just all of a sudden get out our luggage and start hoisting stuff into the suitcase that we're gonna lug around all day with us. Like, I'm gonna wake up, and you know what? That box is gonna be sitting there every day. The paralysis box, or the box of like, hey, I'm not married, or I don't have a job that I love, is sitting there every day.
It's every day.
And you get to choose if you're putting it into your luggage every single day.
Yeah.
And you have to actively choose and be like, no, I'm leaving that one on the shelf today.
Yep.
That one is going to collect some more dust.
Yep.
I don't need to put that in my bag.
No.
And I think it's so important to realize, at least for me, it's been helpful, is like, hey, no, that's always going to be on the shelf until it's potentially healed. Like, it's going to be on the shelf. And would I love for it to not be on the shelf one day? Yes.
Yeah.
But until it's not there, it's going to be on the shelf, and I'm going to have to choose every day. I'm not putting that in my suitcase.
Yeah.
And what I am going to put in my suitcase are things that help me, that arguably don't even belong in a suitcase, but they lift you up and they're light and they're everything that's good in the world.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a choice of like, hey, what are you going to carry today?
It is so complex, I think, because I agree with that statement, but also it's like, what about the days when like you feel sad? No,
there are days I put it in the suitcase.
So, and I think sometimes it's okay that it's in the suitcase, but you just can't live like that every single day.
No.
And anyways.
No, I love that point, because also you need to, like, it also was like earlier we're like, no, you need to let yourself be sad.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
I think it's sometimes like you have to sit with it, and there will be days when
you sit with
I'm carrying it, and I'm like, no, like, this is weighing heavy on me.
Yeah.
And like, not every day is going to be perfect, and not every day are you going to feel great about everything. Yeah. And I think that that's normal.
Totally.
And I think that's also very healthy.
I think it's very healthy
because you have to work through things.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, at least for me, with like, there are things that live there.
Yeah.
That, like, don't, like, it's not getting better. And so it's just like, hey, like, sometimes I'm going to interact with this, and sometimes I'm not going to, and I'm going to.
You know what's interesting is, and this is kind of what a new thought I just had, but like, the day, I think it's I think when it's so detrimental is when you put it in your bag, but you're not willing to open it up.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a perfect way to put it.
I think for me, for so many years, I put it in my bag and I'm not willing to like take it out. Yeah. It's a rock in my backpack and I'm not willing to like take it out during the day or like really like understand what I'm feeling. So it's like if it's in the bag, then it's like, I need to look what's in my suitcase.
Yeah.
And you know what? Once I look at it, I think then I can take it out and I don't have to put it in the next day instead of putting it in and then like being like, well, I'm not going to like deal with this.
Yes. Well, I think to take the metaphor even a step further,
okay, let's go.
It's a box and you choose whether or not you open up that box and see what's inside.
And everyone has a box.
No, we've all got a box. And we all have multiple boxes.
Yeah, we have multiple boxes.
Like, life for everyone has not turned out the way you wanted it to be in any form or fashion.
Everyone can relate to that.
Like, this is just like the human experience. There is something that has not gone your way in your life. Like, point blank, period.
Yeah.
If it has, I don't even think you're human. I don't know what you're doing, literally. But literally it's just like, okay, like, are you going to open it up and like actually see what's inside? Or are you just going to carry it around? Or also like with it, to my point of like leaving it on the shelf, it's like, no, at some point you have to open it up.
Yeah.
Like if you ignore it, sometimes it does just grow.
Yeah.
And it's like, you actually need to open up and like feel the things that are inside the box.
Yeah.
For it to shrink.
Yeah.
Like it may not go away. And that's the way that life goes. I hope for all of you that all your boxes go away, but like,
that's life. There's always something.
There's always something.
Yeah.
Everyone's
health, disease, death, life, betrayal.
Yeah. There's so many things that could be that like, we could not even list them here.
Literally.
Like, it's like insert line here of what's going on. Like everyone's got something at any given moment. So I feel like a really good end cap to this episode is almost like if someone's watching this, they're really struggling with who am I? Who do I want to be? All of those questions, they feel like they're being defined by difficult things, whatever, they're unable to forgive themselves. What is basically our action items?
Action items.
Yeah, like, okay, well, what are we going to do about this? Like, we yapped about this for however long.
Like, literally,
what are we doing?
What can we do? How can you change?
Yes. Like, what am I doing tomorrow?
Love.
And so I think the first thing that's huge is figuring out who you actually want to be. It's like, okay, if you don't want it to be defined by this, or you want to feel a different way about yourself, who are you? And that starts with who do you want to be? And being honest with yourself of who you want to be.
I literally think you can write a list on your phone, in a journal.
In fact, I think you should write a list.
You should actually.
Yeah.
And say, who are you? And like, what are your values?
Yeah.
Not like, I am a fighter. I don't want that. But it's like, no, I am dependable, like you said. Or like, I'm honest.
Mm-hmm. I'm a good friend.
I'm a great friend. I'm a good listener.
Yes.
I'm a great storyteller.
Mm-hmm. And I think for me, when I make this list, I like to not do things like labeling myself like, oh, I'm an introvert or I'm an extrovert. Those things to me, I'm like, that doesn't really help me.
You know what also I think is really important on this list is I think there are things that you need to be honest, and this kind of gets into our point number 2, is like there are things you need to be honest about with yourself.
Yes.
And I think it's like, I am this right now and I don't have to change anything about it. And then I think there's also kind of the list of like, and I want to be here.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, and I think it's also realizing that when you're making the list about who you want to be, don't write things that are so inauthentic to yourself. Where for me it's like, you know what? When I walk into a room, I'm not like the loudest person in the room, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And like, if I really want to become that person, you can become that person.
Right.
But for me, I'm like, that's kind of like inauthentic to who I am.
Yeah.
I don't need to be the person that is the loudest in the room, or I don't need to be the person that whatever, you know, like whatever it may be, you don't need to be like inauthentic or who, like, this isn't who you think you should be.
Yes. No.
This is who you actually want yourself to be.
Yeah.
And this list that you're making needs to be who you want to be, not who other people think you should be.
Totally.
Or who you think you should be for someone else.
Yeah.
Anyways, so make that list now that we gave you just so many caveats for said list.
Yeah.
But I think that is like the biggest step.
I think if you actually do that, that's you're going to get somewhere if you do that. For sure.
100%.
And I think point number 2 is just, you just basically said it, but like, just be honest.
Yeah.
And honesty doesn't mean being mean to yourself. Honesty is like, no, like
giving you some snaps.
snaps. Yeah.
Giving you
like,
snaps.
no, I am actually, like I said, really good at this.
Yeah.
And it's okay that I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah.
And noting that like, okay, I am good at this and like, I want this and I'm not there. So like, this is maybe on like my desire list or whatever, but like, yeah, taking inventory.
Yeah. And being okay with the places that you may lack. Like something for me, I'm so bad at responding to text messages. And it's actually something that like I need to work on. And don't beat yourself up for the fact that I'm not good at it, but it's like, you know what? I want to be better at this.
Yeah.
Because because I want to define myself as being a really good friend.
Yes.
So therefore, that means I need to be responsive to people to be a good friend, because good friends are responsive.
Yeah.
And then realizing like, okay, well, I'm not doing this thing that is who I define myself as, so therefore I need to change.
Yeah.
And being okay with that and being like, okay, I'm going to change and I'm going to be better and I don't need to be emotional about it.
Yeah, you don't
have
to get down on yourself.
Yes, exactly. Like, I don't need to make it this whole hullabaloo that I'm not who I'm supposed to be, whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm just making the right steps to become better.
Yeah.
And being honest, being like, you know what, I'm really good at this. I'm not as good at that. And like just having no like normative things attached to it as far as one thing being good or bad.
Totally.
Like, it just
and like
is.
you can just, it just is. And like, it's okay. You can be unattached to it.
Yes. And it can change.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
That's the whole point.
Okay. And then I think the third one is you need to, once you kind of figure out, okay, I want to be here and I'm not, it's like, okay, what does it look like me being that thing?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So whether that's like, what does it look like being compassionate to myself? What does it look like being a better wife? What does it look like being
more dependable,
more loving myself? What does that look like? And being like, okay, that's what that look like. Let me act like that. You don't have to act like something before you become something. You know what I mean?
You do have to act like something before you become something.
That's what I meant. You don't have to be something before you start acting like it.
Yes.
Sorry, thank you.
Absolutely. No, but that's like literally the whole process.
Yeah.
And there's a concept one of my friends said, what's called the internal credit score, where you're creating like a relationship with yourself, where like the more you do something, the more your brain is going to catch up and be like, oh, I believe that because you're doing that.
Yeah.
And then like if you don't do things right, like the trust with yourself kind of goes down.
Yeah.
And so I think like seeing, okay, this is what I want to do. Now like, let me take these steps, and your brain is going to catch up with your body. Like
that literally is the whole point of cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yes. In a nutshell.
Literally, it's like,
that's it.
Act like you like want to be.
Yes.
And you should be.
Be who you want to be, and you will become that person. Yeah.
It might be uncomfortable. It's going to be a little soul stretching, but you're going to feel so good about it too.
Yes.
Like that's when you're going to feel
Nothing
good.
makes you feel more accomplished. Truly.
Yeah.
Like when you start doing things that make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Shocker. You are going to feel so much
crazy.
better about yourself.
Yeah.
And like when you start becoming like the version of yourself you want to be, and arguably the best or better version of yourself.
Yeah.
It's going to change your life.
Totally. And it's okay that it doesn't all happen
overnight.
But the nice thing is it kind of can.
Yeah.
And some days are going to be better than others.
Yeah.
But like once you start doing that, I think sometimes people are ready for shifts in their lives. And sometimes those shifts can happen quickly, and sometimes those shifts over time. And if either of those categories, it's okay.
Yeah. And I think something that's cool is like a place that you can get to is like, you can mourn things, but they no longer become who you are.
Yes. And they no longer
define you. Where like I can be sad about being paralyzed, but that does not change my definition of myself.
Yes.
Because I'm like, no, I can be sad about this because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And it's no longer this weird string tie situation. It's just like, no, I'm able to let that be, and I'm able to feel, and it doesn't bring my whole world shattering down because I still know who I am. And like, I feel like same for you.
Totally.
And same for anyone. It's like, you're able to experience emotions more fully and be okay with them.
Yeah.
Because you're like, no, I'm a whole person. I know who I am. And so I'm able to interact with these different parts of myself more fully.
Totally. I don't have to feel like I'm behind in life.
Yes.
And it's like, no, like this is my story, and it's powerful, and it's exciting, and it's cool, and it's all these things.
Yes. And it's so worth it.
And it's worth it. Well, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, man.
That's all I have to say, but
yeah, we hope this is
helpful.
But you're worth it. That's what I want to say. You're worth fighting for, so fight for yourself. Like if you're not feeling like you know who you are,
you are worth fighting for.
You are worth fighting for. I know you're worth fighting for.
You have talents. You have things that make you you.
Yeah.
And no one can take that away from you.
You're unique, you're one of a kind, and you're special, and that makes you incredible. So we love you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Like, I wish I could give everyone like a hug, a thank you. Like, you're amazing.
Seriously.
We're obsessed with you. Anyways, love you all. Bye. Bye.